Hello and welcome back to Swithbird Suplex Society. Let's talk about Australia. We had no fluff, no kerfuffle, no random talking bits in the ring. First thing when we opened up, we got straight into Mox versus Takeshita for the Continental title. And it was good. It was what you would expect from the two of them. Just lots of great offense, a little bit of really good defense. Big dudes slapping man meat, red chests by the end of everything. That's all I gotta say, man. Just red old chests. And Mox ended up with the victory, not via pin, not via submission, not via countout. Time limit draw. Which, hell yeah. And then Mox was saying something to the ref, I believe it was Stephon Smith, and it looked like he was trying to get the match restarted, give him another 5 minutes so that there could be a decisive winner. And Takeshita wasn't having it. He just bulldozed through Mox there at the last second and then was just like, I'm done, I'm out. And he disappeared back into the locker room. So very good match. If you got a couple minutes, go check it out. It's worth just listening to the slaps. Like, very powerful boys just hitting each other flat-handed right on the pectorals. Really, really good stuff. There was a moment where Takeshita was kind of toying with Mox during the whole match, and then Mox went to do a tope through the middle and top rope, and he didn't miss. I wouldn't consider it a miss. He overshot it. He went right over Takeshita's head, and they both kind of went down like a weird sack of potatoes, like literally on the ramp, not on the pads around the ring. I'm talking at the foot of the ramp to the ring. So that was pretty good, pretty interesting. But again, they got that time limit draw. So I don't know what their win-loss record against each other is. I believe this was like the seventh time they've wrestled each other, and so they may be 3-1. I'm not sure. I'll double check online and post it above my head somewhere or something. Up next, we had women's tag action for the titles. So it was Babes of Wrath versus Megabad. Really interesting match for the most part. I mean, it was really exactly what you would expect. It seemed like the Babes of Wrath had a little more gumption under their belts because we were in Harley Cameron's home country. So they did end up with the win. But it never seemed like anybody had a decent upper hand through the entire match. It was a constant ebb and flow from both teams, which, like I said, nothing to knock on it. It's not match of the night. It's not the worst match I've seen any of those four performers put on, but that's just what it was. And Babes of Wrath kept the titles, and I'm cool with that. We did have, I believe they called her Lena Cross, pop up at the end there, and that was a thing. She's an Australian wrestler, apparently, who's been doing really good on the indies, and she seems to be wanting to put herself in the ranks of Megabad. So we'll see if anything happens with that, what happens with it. It literally, she came out, did a thing, and then stood with Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford, and that was the whole end of the shtick. She is also a very tall woman, so interesting. Keeping an eye on it. We followed that up with the title shot between Paige and Andrade. Hangman had the upper hand for a while. Andrade had the upper hand for a while. Andrade did his moonsault, flat foot, backflip thing. You know, they all got their licks in. It wasn't quite a spot fest, although there was one spot I would like to shout out. I don't understand what's going on with Andrade and women in the audience, but there was another woman in the audience who wanted a photo, and Andrade obliged the photo, and the girl gave him a kiss on the cheek, and he was like, oh. And then he got a boot to the face by Adam Page. Adam Page stopped and was like, well, you don't want a photo with me? And the woman was like, I guess. Okay. So then Page took a photo, and the girl was hesitantly going to like give him a kiss on the cheek or something. And he was like, no, I'm a married man. And then he walked off. So that was very funny. That was good. That was some good stuff. But Page ended up with the win after Don Callis hopped off the commentator table and went and caused a ruckus. And Andrade tried to kick Hangman in the balls, and Hangman blocked it and got Andrade in the balls instead, and then got the buckshot lariat. And that's all she wrote. That was the whole shebang. Everything's cool with that. So we'll come back to Hangman Page because he does show up again later. But that was the Andrade Hangman match. So I'm curious what Andrade is going to go after next. I'm curious what the Don Callis family is going to do with all of this next. We're just going to have to wait and see. We are 1 month away from the first pay-per-view. Officially, March 15th, Revolution. We got this. Like, we are 30 days away. So, looking forward to that. Next up, we had the mixed tag team match with someone's hair on the line, and I absolutely called it. I nailed this prediction. So it was Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir versus Orange Cassidy and Toni Storm. And there was a moment where Yuta took Toni Storm and did some kind of suplex or brainbuster or something onto what I believe was supposed to be like tables that were set up. But I think what they actually were the road cases with just a giant tablecloth over them. And so that took Toni Storm out for a few minutes. During that, Shafir and Yuta went and just blitzed the hell out of Orange. Didn't end up getting the victory in that moment. Eventually, Toni Storm came back out, and there was a whole ruckus. And Toni Storm was doing suplexes to Yuta, and Shafir was kicking and mocking Orange. And then Tony got Yuta into chicken wing, and Shafir got Orange Cassidy into some form of the ankle lock. And so the ladies were just staring at each other and waiting for whatever to happen. And they eventually just said, screw this. They can't both tap out at the same time. There would be no winner. So the ladies let the guys go. The ladies started going after it. And it was a very fun match. It wasn't super long, which is fine. It didn't have to be. But my prediction came true. I absolutely nailed it. And Toni Storm ended up getting the pin victory on Wheeler Yuta after she hit him with a hip attack, pulled him up. Orange got him with the orange punch, and then she fell into the pin. And Mina brought out a stool, and it was just a whole thing. Wheeler tried to run away, and Mox came out and was like, "Just, it's hair. Who cares? Just cut your hair. Like, let him cut your hair. Get over it. It's just hair." And so Wheeler left the ring looking like an old school British friar, because they just kind of took the time. It kind of looked like they scalped him. I've been watching a lot of Hell on Wheels right now. So they kind of scalped him with the scissors and the clippers and everything, and he went off with a weird long like horseshoe, kind of like the butler in Rocky Horror Picture Show. It was very interesting. So Wheeler Yuta's bald, and that was I feel like that was a very easy prediction to get right, but I'm going to hang on to that anyway. Put one in the win column for me. Up next, we had a brutal match. Oh my God. It was Mark Briscoe, Kyle Fletcher, TNT title, ladder match. And oh boy, Briscoe was bleeding, I believe, within the first 3 minutes of the match. There was a whole thing where they had ladders set up like scaffolding everywhere. And one ladder was on top of the turnbuckle in one of the corners, and the top of the ladder was facing toward the center of the ring. It was totally parallel on top of the turnbuckle, on top of the ring post. And Fletcher picked up Briscoe and just threw him like a missile into it. And Briscoe hit it and like tried to catch himself, and it didn't really work. And the whole ladder went boom, and it like launched itself into the ring. And the top of Briscoe's head got cut open. So he just was bleeding for the entire match. It was insane. There was other stuff happening. There more ladder scaffolding ended up being put together. And Mark Briscoe did a J driller onto one of those, and they cracked that in half. And then Briscoe started to climb the ladder. And then Fletcher came back to life and scampered up the other side of the ladder. And Fletcher gave Briscoe a frickin' brainbuster from the top of the large ladder to the ring mat. And they showed the replay like 3 times from a couple different angles. And holy crap, did Briscoe's head and neck snap in such a weird way. I was legitimately worried that he was dead for a couple of seconds, because he snapped, fell over, and just died right there in the ring for a while. Oh man, it was just so crazy. I move away from the mic to breathe in. So it was just a whole thing. Blood, ropes were covered in blood, mat was covered in blood, double glove referee. It probably match of the night, which is crazy for me to say because we still have several matches to go. But, oh boy, was it something special. So, Fletcher kept the title. He's done with Briscoe. He's going to move on, and they're going to go do something. Again, I have no idea what's next for the Don Callis family, but we're going to wait to find out, and we're going to hope for the best. So we get to the end of the night. MJF, Brody King, and it was good. It was really good. MJF had a lot of his MJF stuff going on, which was totally fine. Brody King was being his big man self and using his power, which was totally fine. There was, guys going back and forth in the ring, getting thrown around over the top rope, under the rope, through the rope, on the floor. There was a whole apron spot. It moved fast enough that I didn't have enough time to really take any notes, but not fast enough to the point where I felt that it was overdone. They had a very, very good flow the entire match. Brody really looked like he was going to win it a couple of times. They came real close to giving that title to Brody. And in the end, MJF had been working over Brody's knee for a little while. Brody couldn't stand. He tried to do a second finishing move where I cannot remember the name of it. I'll look it up and I'll put it above. He tried to get a second one to really finalize the match, and it didn't work. MJF literally pulled his knee pads down and bit his frickin' knee, gave him a tombstone on the apron, hit him with the heat seeker, and it was done. Like, that was it. It felt good. It shows that Brody can still go as a singles competitor. He can perform with the best of them, and MJF is MJF, and we're expecting MJF to have the title for 5 years. So, all in all, enjoyed it very much. I'm going to give match of the night to the ladder match just because it was so... I really feel like the ladder match was kind of rushed, like they were running out of time, which may be because cutting Wheeler Yuta's hair went on for far too long. They could have just hit him with the clippers a couple of times, danced around with some of his hair. Tony Storm actually did roll around in some of his hair, which was weird, but it's Tony Storm, so it works. But the hair cutting sequence actually took quite a while. But everything worked out so that nothing seemed like it was too fast and nothing dragged on, which is awesome. So after MJF won, Hangman came out, signed the contract, dropped the contract on the mat in between him and MJF, went to turn, did a fakie, and then pretended to stab MJF in the head with the pen because he was still holding the pen. And MJF cowered and ran off, or didn't run off. He cowered and scooched back to the ropes, and Hangman Page disappeared into the back, and that was the entire show. So next week on Wednesday, we're getting Swerve vs. Kenny Omega. We're getting a face-to-face with Hangman and MJF. We're getting a couple of things. I cannot remember. It's very late. This is a 2.5 hour long episode, and I am a big boy with a big boy job that requires me to be awake at 4 a.m. So it's weird being up late on Wednesdays, let alone whatever time it is now on a Saturday night. I'm old. It happens. So everything was good. Everything worked out perfect. I'm looking forward to see what the Don Callis family does next. I want to see who tries to go after Mox for the Continental title next. I want to know where Ciampa is and if he's going to finally dive into the psycho killer aspect of his character. That would be some fun backstage stuff as far as the psycho part, just him popping out of corners, smiling at people or whatever. It would be fun. There's so many things you can do, and I just don't feel like he's been really embracing the character nickname. So we'll see what happens. I'll see you guys Wednesday. It's late. I'm EP. I hope you have a great week. I hope that you're doing well. You take care of yourself, and do 3 things this week that make you happy. Throw pennies at children. I don't know. Whatever you want. It's your life. Do your thing. But have a great week. And I'll see you Wednesday. Peace.